Okay, are we live? Still waiting. Come on. Are we live? Are we live? Are we live? Are we live? Still waiting, still waiting. Let's see. Oh, I think we are live. Beautiful. Well, hello everyone. Once again, I'm doing yet another live stream. I found an hour or so that I can put in now to continue building my chat app using React. So in the previous session that I had, I basically built out this application here. Now, all I've really done at the moment is just create some very high level components. So I've got a chat form, a chat tile, conversation list, a new conversation, and message list, and search. And that's to basically line up these components respectively. Okay. So what I want to do in this video now is I want to continue making more components, and that's simply because of the fact that this bit here at least and this bit here still has a lot going on inside them. Okay, so this is a conversation list and this is a message list. So if I go over to my conversation list, which is inside the conversation folder, we can see we've got a whole bunch of repeating elements in here. So divs with the class name of conversation, then this stuff could all pretty much be a component of its own. And then once I've basically broken out these components, I want to grab the data that's here and have that stored as maybe a JSON object and have it passed down through the components. All right, so that's probably the objective for the next hour or so, is to try and do that. So I'm going to get started. And so the first thing I'm going to do is create a component for this individual conversation item. So I'm going to come over to my conversation folder and I'm just going to go conversation item.js, and I'll also create a conversation item.css, and I'm going to grab the basic setup that I have for my components so far, which are just pretty much functions. I'm going to pretty much paste that code in there. And then I'm going to change the chat search.css here to conversation item.css. And I'm going to change this to conversation item. And we're going to export conversation item. Then the next thing I want to do is I want to come over to my conversation list and I want to grab that element that's kind of repeating that there. So bring that over, and I'm just, for the moment, not going to worry about the data that's getting spit out. I'm just going to repeat that over and over and over again, just like so, for now. So when I call an instance of this, we're just going to get the same div with the same image, the same name, and the date and everything. I'm not going to worry too much about the data in here at the moment. I just want to get it up and going. So with that said, I can now come up to the top of the file here, and I'm probably going to import at this point my conversation item from conversation item. And hopefully, at least I can get rid of this line and put in that for now. And if I run this properly, hopefully we should see no change, and we don't. Okay, so we can see that we've got the same person, which is me, in the very top position. So if I now add a second one of these, like so, I should get two lots of me now. Yep, cool. So now we've taken that conversation item and we've broken it down to a component. Now I've just grabbed the HTML for now. I need to also grab the CSS, which is in the conversation list CSS file still. Where is it? There. So conversation list really is only that bit there. The rest of it is part of conversation. So all of this stuff here, we can grab all this cut it out, leave the conversation list like that. And if I run this right now, we can see it looks terrible. But if I come over to conversation item and once again we paste it, I'm not going to worry about formatting right now. I just want to see if it works. And now it's back to working again. Cool. So for the moment, I'm literally going to just keep it like that. Now, the next thing I might do, actually, no, I'll worry about data later. So I might do the same thing now for a individual message over here, like so. So we'll grab, I don't know, we'll just grab this top message or something. Or actually, it'll be, the top message will actually be this bottom message because I'm using Flexbox to go upwards. So we'll grab this message and we'll repeat that for the moment. However, we do have this thing with an image. So we'll take that into consideration a little bit later. In fact, no, let's not do that. Let's grab this one right now. And we'll just repeat this one because it has the image inside of it. Cool. So I'm going to come over to my message list, which contains all that CSS at the moment. And I pretty much need that there. Now, there's divs that have a little bit less content because they don't have the image. But what we'll do is eventually we'll have an if condition that spits out this image if it's from someone else and not me. Okay. So I'm going to create another message here or another JS file here. I'll just call it message.js and message.css. And I'm going to close all these files because I'm getting too many open at the moment. We'll grab this baby here, over here, and we'll change all this stuff like we normally do. Now, some people might be shouting out, oh, you should use the CLI. You should use the CLI to create this stuff. Yeah, probably, but I don't really know off the top of my head how to do it. And at this point, I'm just trying to get a application built. And then as I go along, I'll learn more of the ways to do things better in React, okay, as I go along. Right now, I'm just trying to build the application from what I know. And then as I read more, I'll improve this application as we go along. So there's that. So now I can grab the message and I can actually import this into message list. So I'll just put it above here. Import, message, import message from message. And what I'll do is I'll just whack that in here for the moment. Actually, no, we'll do it underneath this one. Like so. Now, I don't think I've got the right HTML. Yeah, I've got the search box. It's currently down here. That's fine. And what I'm going to do now is I'm literally going to cut this out. And we'll reformat this in a minute. So this will get cut out. And that's gone. Cool. And we'll replace it in here. Beautiful. So hopefully now we get the same as we had before. Great. So now we've created a component for an individual message and we've created a component for an individual conversation item. Now from this point, I think I'm pretty happy with the components that I have for most of the layout that we have here. We might need to add or tweak some a little bit later, but for now, these are the basic components that I'm going to have. So a conversation item component, a conversation list, so that individual item, a search, and a new item, new conversation. So we've got the new conversation there, and we've got chat search down here. Probably could call it conversation search, to be honest with you. In fact, let's do that. Before we go too far, let's chuck it into conversation. So I'm going to have to refactor this a little bit. That's fine. So I'm going to change it from chat search to conversation search. And was the other chat search? There it is. I just feel like that's more appropriate. And then I need to come down to my shell, fix this. So in here I've got chat search tool. This will now be conversation search. And this will be conversation search, but it will be inside of conversation. And then instead of using chat search, I use conversation search. And something went wrong. What did I do wrong? And I've used the wrong, no, that's conversation. Conversation. No. Can't resolve chat search CSS. Oh, okay. So inside of here, conversation search. Beautiful. All right, cool. Now I'm happy with the components I have and where they are at the moment. So we've got chat title, chat form, conversation related stuff, and message related stuff. And then we've got our overall shell. So I think that the shell is the thing that really drives this whole application. So I really want the state to exist in the shell and have it propagated down through the rest of the application. So I'm going to have this be the big bad boy that does a lot of the stuff. But before I get to that, before I actually handle the state, I'm going to basically come to my conversation item and I'm going to start defining props. So I'm pretty sure that's how you have props for a function. I prefer actually, let's change this right now to an arrow function rather than the word function. So there's that, props, and now I'm going to go, I think I can go props. So I want to grab the image, require props, props dot image URL, image URL. So for now, I'll hold on to that. I'm just going to comment out this all at the bottom. And then for the alt, I'm going to have props.image alt. And I'll just grab that too. Bring that down the bottom. What else? Class title text. This will be the title message, I assume. Actually, for the image, I don't think it's image alt. Oh no, we'll make it conversation title here. So this will be props dot. We'll just go props dot title. Props dot title. So this one is the title. This is the image alt. And this is the image URL. And then we won't worry about the formatting right now. So we'll just say this will be the formatted date. So is it the created date? Actually, I'll call it created at. I'll call it created at. So in here we'll have props dot created at. Worry about formatting later. And then in here we're going to have an actual latest message. So latest message text. I'll just grab that and we'll go props dot, bring this back up, latest message text. So at the moment this is probably going to break. Wouldn't be surprised. So what's this say? Critical dependency. The request of the dependency is an expression. Search for the keywords. Compile warning. Yeah, what line? Doesn't really tell us much, does it? If I remove all that, is it going to fail? What's it talking about? Critical dependency. The request of a dependency is an expression. Is it the require? Maybe it's the require. So maybe I'll just go const image URL equals require const.image URL. Or, you know what? Let's not use that at all. We'll just use props.image URL, and I'll actually put that outside of the component. I think that's the better option. All right, so that's what it was complaining about. So now that I have all that, I'm now going to go out to my conversation list. Again, I've got too many things open, so I'm going to close some of these down. Leave the shell for the moment, and the message list and the message. I'm going to open up conversation list. And here, I'm going to pass in, how do I do this again? I think I just have to go, oh geez. Maybe I'll just put conversation. No, hang on. Conversation equals an object. And I'm just going to change this a bit. And this will now be props.conversation.image URL. I just don't want to have too many properties. Props.conversation.image URL. Okay. So now I'm doing that. I'm going to pass in image URL. This is probably not going to work. Let's just do this for the moment, because I am going to be passing in quite a big object. Why is that saying expected? Is it saying that I have to return an object inside here too? Okay, yeah, cool. Let's grab, well, actually, I know, I didn't remove it. Require, we'll just do this for now, even though I'm pretty sure this isn't going to work. Just grab that. Image URL, image alt, I think. I'll just put my name back in here again. Is it image alt? What is this? Yep, image alt. We're going to now grab the title. Oops. Pretty sure that's my name too. My name, created at, and this will eventually go outside this component too. Just wanted to make that a const as well. Create at, and then finally we've got latest message text. So this is a message, and then I'll remove all that. All right. So that's a conversation item with all its properties. Let's see if it renders properly. It does, except for the image, but I'm not surprised about that because I did not think this was going to work when I go to require. Let's try it now while it's here. Bet it doesn't work. Oh, didn't complain. Oh, now it works. Okay, there you go. Still works under those circumstances. Eventually, these images will all come from some form of blob storage that will create some backend that will store the images, and we just have to refer to them by an external URL. But for now, I'm just using images that are local just because they were already there. So, right. So that's kind of the structure that I want to pass in. Now, I think what's going to probably happen though is I'm going to have to take this outside of this component and pass it in as props as well, just like so. And then what will happen is this will end up being in a for each or whatever. I can't remember the actual syntax for loops inside of React. I'll look that up in a second. But this is what I want. So for now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a data folder. And we'll just say conversations.js. And I'll export const conversations equals, it's going to be an array. And obviously the format will be something like this. This. So I'll just copy that for the moment, paste that in, and I'm going to use that further up in the chain. So what I'll do now is whatever is calling conversation list, which I believe is our chat shell. There it is right there. We will basically load in the conversations here. So import conversations from data conversations. Eventually that will come from a service or something. But for now, that's where I'm grabbing it from. And I'm going to pass in the conversation list. Conversations equals conversations. Just like that. And then that will allow me to access conversations inside of props. So if I now go console.log props.conversations. Just like that. And I got an error. Doesn't want me to have it outside the source folder. But is it outside the source folder, is it? There's no outside the source folder. Images, profiles. Oh, sorry. So it's the conversations itself require, where is it, data? So just up one directory. Cool. All right, so now I should see a console log for that. Yeah, it's an array. Cool. It's importing the image URL, created at, last message. Yep, cool. Now I just need to remember how to do the key thing. The key thing. So if I come over to React, get started. Is that the main concepts? List and keys. Here we go. All right, so it uses the map function. So we can go what do we do here? So const conversation items equals props dot conversations. I'll worry about null reference checks later. Conversations dot map, and we'll have a conversation obviously like so, and then we'll have conversation item where the conversation will equal the conversation that's coming in. Obviously, all I have to do here is I can actually now remove this. Oops. Throw in that. Now again, I'm going to add the null checks and all that in later. What's this? Expected an assignment or function call and instead store an expression. I thought that's how you added stuff in. No, that's not how you add stuff in. Let's see what else they've done here. How did they do it? Yeah, so they've got an expression, just like that. They've got the expression. It's an expression. Conversation items are great. It's inside of a div. So what's the problem? Expected an assignment. Oh, hang on. I'm not returning. That's the problem. It had nothing to do with this, it was this. Okay, so let's go and have a look at what we got here. So it needs a unique key, that's fine. But I can still see me, which is great. So that's still working. So now I need a key. So let's read more about this key stuff. Oh yeah, if you want to know how to get the code for these sessions, what I've got is a repo that's publicly available. So if you go to Lyrad Digital on GitHub and look up chat-app-react, you can get the code for these sessions. Now at the moment, the current branch I'm looking at here is session 2, but I have a branch for each session. So if you're on session 1, you can pull the code down from session 1. That will give you, the code at the end of session 1. And obviously when I finish session 2 here, I'll have the code available under session 2. All right, and master will always be up to date. Cool. Anyway, I'll close that. So now I need to add a key. So how does this work again? I'm pretty sure you just have to assign some numerical value. So for me, I don't really have an ID or anything like that at this stage. I might add one later. So I'm assuming with my map function, I can go conversation, and then I believe it's index. And then for the key, is it just called key equals index like that? Is that how it works? Yeah, key equals. So let's give that a try and see if the error goes away. Message handler took. Okay, it looks like the error went away, which is good. Awesome. Now, I might end up having a different key later. If we end up fetching conversations from a database, it might have an ID on it. That's probably what will be added as the key. But for now, I'm just using the index, just because I'm dealing with objects in memory. Right. All right. So for the rest of this, I could come in and build out all the JSON, or should I? What I might do is I might leave that for a future video. So I might create a couple of items. We'll just say we'll create 2 or 3. So I'm going to grab this code here. Well, actually, we'll grab these 2. We'll cut them out. And I'm going to, for now, comment this out. Why is that? Oh, it's added parentheses itself. That's fine. Cool. So now I should just have the one item. Beautiful. And now what I'm going to do is come over to my data from the moment. I'm just going to paste underneath here all the HTML, but we're not going to use the HTML. I'm just going to use that to get the data. Cool. So we've got Kim. So we'll grab it from /images, because I know that that's all different now, different directory. We're going to grab Kim O'Neill for both the alt and the title text. Yeah, // and 2 days ago. So it looks like we might have some moment in this application. I can't talk. Very funny. Cool. So that's that content gone. And then we'll grab this one as well for John. So that's all of this here. And we'll grab John Hansen because he's the same for both of these. 1 week ago. And yes, he's talking about Python or something. Cool. So if I now delete that and save, we should have 3 entries. And we do. Now, the one thing I've noticed here quickly is that they're all deemed active, no matter what, which is not right. So we need a way to determine what the active conversation is. And I'm not going to do that by adding a is active here, because I want to have the application remember what the current conversation is. And based on that, we'll know which conversation should be active in the conversation list. So in the conversation list component for the moment, I'm going to create what am I going to do here? Let's go const, and I'll probably fix this later. Selected conversation index equals, we'll say 0 for now. And for this, we're going to return keys index. We're going to say is active is equal to index triple equals that. So this is going to determine whether the conversation item is active or not. So now I can grab this and we'll save that for the moment. Come to my conversation item, and it looks like we have a class here. So we can go const. Now there might be a better way to do this, but for now this is how I'm going to do it. Equals conversation, and then I'll go if props dot is active, class name plus equals space active. Now I know that's not the best way to do it. Right now I'm just trying to get things working, and then later on I can refactor and make it better. So now the class name, well, this will now become class name. Now hopefully that doesn't clash, but we'll see. And it didn't like it. Oh, sorry, I've given it a constant. We'll let that. Cool. That's better. Awesome. All right, so I'm not going to worry about all the other conversations in the conversation list right now. I will probably do that off screen, but basically we have our conversation list kind of working and passing in data. Now, it's just coming from a flat JavaScript file right now, but that's fine. We'll basically add some ability later to format everything the way it should be and not just have it coming from a flat file. Next step, I want to now break out these messages and have the data pass through to these, kind of how we've done with conversation list. So it should be very similar in nature. So if I use conversation list and conversation item as references, I can now come over to where message is, and we'll start off with message.js. And what do we got here? So we've got an image for the thumbnail. All right, so I'm going to copy that. Once again, I'm going to have, we'll say image URL, like so. At the moment, I'm going to use that require, but I'm just going to put in here, so this whole expression, props dot image, what the hell? Props dot image URL. That's probably because I'm not passing in props here. And once again, I might make this a const, use arrow functions, like so. Now I could go one step further at the moment and actually remove that and do this, like so. But I know I'm probably going to add some logic at some point, so, whoops, too far. Like that. I'm going to remove that because I mean to import that. And I'm going to move on. We're now going to grab props.image alt, just like we did with the conversation. We're going to have the same deal here for the image alt. Image alt is that. And what else we got? Message text. So we can basically hold on to that. Go props.message text. Message text equals, well, maybe I'll be a little bit clever here. Do that. So message text, and then that's really the message time, isn't it? So, oops, or props.created at. It's really the creation time of the message. So, and I will use created at. And for now, I'll just use that. Cool. So that's most of the information. However, if I look at my message list, so if I come over to message list, I can see that we have some elements that deem whether it's me talking or the other person talking. All right, so it's either me, i.e. the you message, or it's the other message. So we need to toggle this class depending on that. And as well as that, it looks like only when we have other message, we have the image shown. So if it's not the other person, we don't show the image. So there's a couple of things that we need to do here. So that we also need to add another property here, probably called is my message, like that, and probably set it to true or something. So with that said, that will add this class here. So once again, I'm going to have let message class name, or message class equals, we'll start off with message row. Then we'll go if props dot what was it? Is my message is what I was going to call it. Yep. If that is my message, there's probably a couple of things I'm going to do here. So I'm going to actually also have let image thumbnail, and I'm going to set that to null to start off with. And so if it is, sorry, if it's not my message, let's make it if it's, I'm just trying to think. I'm going to have an if else anyway, so it doesn't really matter which way I do it. So if props dot is my message, then I don't have to touch the image thumbnail. However, message class will plus equal, let a space, and I don't know why it says message row like that. It should be that message row. So if it's my message, it's going to be u dash message like that. Otherwise, we're going to use this, right? As well as that, we're also going to set image thumbnail is equal to this here. I'm just going to cut that out, just like that. And then I'm going to add that here. So basically what will happen is, if it's my message, well, this will be null, so that won't have an image there. However, if it isn't my message and it's someone else, well, it'll have a different class name and the image will fit in here. And I think that's all I really need to do for this at the moment. Now I just need to use it. So I'm going to come down here and go kaboom. I think that's all I need to do for now. And then I just need to pass this information through. Now this is going to break. So it's broken there, but that's fine, because I don't have any of that information. So let's come up to message list, and we'll start off building out one object. So again, I should have just gone message, message equals, and then an object. So what I should do is this should say props.message. Well, actually, is my message. Yeah, we'll use that. We'll pass that through, I think. It'll be based on the current message that's being mapped. Yeah, so we'll leave that like that. But this will be dot message. Too many S's. Too many S's. Whoa, what happened there? Cool. And so it's that. And then props dot message dot message text. And then props dot message dot created at. And save like so. And that's going to break the world, but that's fine. It's because the object is null, undefined, I should say. So now I need to, for the moment, pass that in. And we'll worry about null checks later. For now, I'm not too worried. So I'm a little surprised that that broke so badly, because I am passing an object. Props.message. Weird. I'm passing it there. Oh, maybe it's invalid. Image URL. And I'm just going to, for now, require that. Close it off. There you go. Image alt is equal to me. And then we have message text which for now I'm just going to put anything, but I'll fix that up a little later. Created that. And we'll put in what it says here. And that's it for now. I can cut all this out. And then I can go, here's my message. And we'll just say for now, true. And save. Cool, so now you can see here it's got anything, and it's my message, so it's blue and it's on the right hand side, it's got everything where it should be. And now if I decide that it's actually going to be the other person, so it should show the thumbnail, and update the gray, and there it is there. Cool. So the component under the hood is working the way I want it to, this thing here, other than the fact I'm not doing null checks, but that's another problem that I'll deal with a little bit later. So the next step is what? Probably to pass it through, just like I did with conversations. So I'm going to, once again, create another data.js file. This time I'll just call it messages.js. We'll go export const messages equals an array, and I don't want that. I gotta go back to message list and pretty much grab this like so. And paste it in here. Cool, so is there anything else I want to change? Yes. Let's get this all the way over. And not just have it say anything. I'll just paste everything in here. Let's put it all on the next line, to be honest with you. So let's start that here actually, and then like that. Cool. Sorry, I got a little bit of a snooty nose. I didn't mean that. Now, is my message? We'll worry about that a little bit later. Let's, for now, actually, let's put is my message on here. We'll just go false. But we'll do the check differently in future. So now that's going to fail. That's fine. I'm going to come to my chat shell and I'm going to import the messages from messages, and then just like I've done here, message list. So now it'll be messages and messages, just like that. And we'll still have the issue, but that's fine because now I'm going to come over to my message list, and just like I did previously, up above, I'm going to have a just paste that for the moment. Let's have a look at what we did with the conversation list. So the conversation index, we'll worry about that later. I'm going to grab that and we're going to tweak it a bit. So now we've got message items. We're not looking at conversation item, we're looking at message. And instead of conversation, it's now message. We can leave it an index, that's fine. And that'll be message and that'll be message. And this will be is my message. And this will be equal to message dot is my message. Just like that. And then basically what I can do now is pass that in like that, and I can comment the rest of this stuff out all the way down here. Beautiful. And hopefully, we should just have one single message, except I got an error, and that's because I'm not using props, which reminds me, I'll change this to an arrow function. And now if I do it, it still doesn't work. And it's because in my messages thing here, I'm going up too many directories. Now it says all good, and we get an error. What's the error? We're using props.map. That's not right. So this should be messages. Cool. And there we go. So now we've got one message at the very bottom. And at the moment, it's my message. Or sorry. Actually, this should be not is my message. Oh no, hang on. Is my message. Did I make it true or false in the data? Oh, I made it false. Yeah, that's right. Okay, cool. So what I'll do now is I'll come over and create a couple of messages that I want to have. So let's grab this here, for example, and I'll come over to my messages.js file. And because these are all done in a certain order, I'm just going to basically cut that out, or copy that, sorry, paste it. And we'll just update it with what we have here. So for the message text, well, this time it's not so big, so we can just do that. I'm going to update these to single quotes, not double quotes, just for consistency. I noticed I did it down here as well. Stop it. Damn idea, it always adds a second one sometimes. I'm sure you can probably change the setting for that, but I haven't bothered. Is my message, this one is true. And the alt and this thing here really doesn't matter. So we can go null. And in fact, we can say null for that too. Right, so we just need message text and the date. So we can basically remove that and save, take a look. And what have I done here? Okay then. That should have been the other way around. So what have I done here? Is my message. Oh, whoops. This is the other way around. So this should be null. And this should be null as well. And that stayed for some reason. Alright. Okay then. Nice. But it should be, so this one should be grey and this one should be not grey. So I'm getting these around the wrong way. This is not my message, and this one is my message. Okay, beautiful. Alright. Do I want to go any further? Just trying to think. What's the next step here? Oh, let's save that. Cool. Just try to work out what the next course of action is to take now. Because now we're in a position where I've got all this commented crap that I could go and clean up now and create items for. We don't really have any bindings for setting up this down here. So when we type something and press enter, it's not going to add any messages. When I click this over here, it doesn't do anything. When I search here, it doesn't do anything. The add button is broken still. So that needs to be an anchor tag. So how about I'll go and fix that anchor tag down here first. So get that button back. So I made it an anchor element with a href of nothing. Where is it? Inside of conversation, new conversation. So this here, I made it a span when really it's an anchor or a button. Let's try button. Like so, and save and see what it does. Alright, so that looks terrible, but that's fine. So let's come into our CSS and we'll change this to button. Oh, that's right, I remember this. You couldn't use button because it wouldn't align stuff into the middle unless you use flexbox. So display flex. We have align items. The center. We'll have justify content. Set that to the center. And that should give us something that looks respectable. No? Still doesn't align that stuff into the center. Display flex. New message container. Justify content, align item center. It should be, that plus should be aligned into the middle. Because I prefer to use a button here, so when I press it, we can make it do something. So all that stuff's fine. So if I make it an anchor element, now it won't work. So even when I change it to an anchor, it doesn't work now. Or does it? Yeah, that doesn't look like it's in the center, does it? Alright, so undo everything I've done here. But that's not in the middle. Or is it? Yeah, no, it looks like it's definitely towards the bottom. What if I change the contents inside the anchor? So make it like an A. See, that's not in the center of the anchor tag. Why is that not vertically aligned? Close content. This used to work. Anyway, I'm gonna set it back. I think there's an issue with having it as an anchor tag. Or is there not? So if I come over to new conversation, I set this back to an anchor tag. I think there was an issue with it. Yeah. The href attribute is required for an anchor to be keyboard accessible. Yeah, I don't want it to be an anchor tag though. I want it to be a button because I want someone to press it. So let's just leave it as flex. I'll deal with the alignment later. Align items, center, justify content, center, and we can get rid of that. Now obviously that's not going to make it work perfectly, that's fine. Why is it not round? Oh, it's still an anchor tag on the selector. Alright. For whatever reason, it's still picking picking up the fact that the plus is down lower, but won't worry about that. That's just little trivial things I can fix in my spare time. So what do I want to do now? I'm just trying to think. Well, as boring as it is, what should I? So we've got that. Shell. So maybe we can start doing props on the other items. So for this one, we can have conversation, selected conversation equals, and how about we have a selected conversation, which will eventually come from probably a Redux select or something that actually selects from a Redux store. You know, tries to look for something like that. Yeah, let's do this. So let's, for now, I'll just create a const in here. And we'll have the conversation, we'll have a title, and we'll say my title. And that's all we'll have for the moment. It might have more information later, but that's fine. So that should replace. I'll leave it as my title for now, and then I'll change it to my name once I've wired it up. So if I now come to my chat title component, again, I'm going to change this to a const, like so. And what will I do now? What will I do? What will I do? I'm going to have props. And we'll go props dot, what did I call it? What did I call it in my shell? Select the conversation. And I'll get more defensive later. So if anyone's saying, you should be null checking. Yeah, that's fine. I will do that, but I just want to get what the structure of the content is done first. So title, we have a logo in here. It has delete conversation. We can leave that for now. So if I save this, and idiot me, forgot to add the parentheses around it. My title. Cool. All right. So if I now come back to my shell, I'll change it to just have, you know what, I'll have it come from selected conversation. Let's put it all in a different file. So I can do this. Yeah, people are talking at me. I don't know why. So come into conversations. And I'll go export const. Whoops. Like that. And then back to my shell. And once again, I have a const chat shell equals props, which actually I don't have props at the moment for this. I don't know, we may inject something later, but for now we don't. Cool, my title. Excellent. So if I now come over and I just change it to something that makes a little bit more sense. So I'll just use my name, like so. Beautiful. All right. I'm going to probably finish the stream there, guys. It's been a little over an hour, so I've got to pretty much start getting ready to go to work tomorrow. So, yeah, I'm going to end the stream there. So, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Why won't it close? Ugh. Never mind. Why? It's pretty close.